it's future social proof. Because when you have a trend of at least 3 data points, people project the next data points into the future.
So a question which would really help our audience, Dr. Cialdini, would be how can we actually embed a little bit more urgency into a research-based call that our client base keeps getting in this new world where people are doing so much research?
Yes, and I think the key is uncertainty right now. We live in what is unquestionably the most information overloaded, stimulus saturated, choice focused, and challenge focused environment that has ever existed on the planet. And because of that, I mean, there's this irony that so much information is in the system that we become information deprived in terms of the crucial piece for us to make a decision. And people sit on the fence. So, how do we move people off the fence, off the sidelines, really, is what it is, and into the game with us? That's the question. And I would say, there are 3 universal principles of influence that have that character, that reduce uncertainty. 2 of them reduce uncertainty as to whether you are the right person to partner with, right? Your business model, your value proposition. Uh, you are the right one for my challenges, the solution that I need. The other one, which I'll call scarcity, is the one that reduces their uncertainty that this is the time to move. This is the moment that I have to move because, in fact, as Dan said, scarcity is about loss. It's about the possibility of loss. Loss is the ultimate form of scarcity. It means you can't get this thing anymore. And people hate the idea of losing something more than they like the idea of gaining that very same thing. I mean, won the Nobel Prize in economics for Daniel Kahneman a few years ago, where he showed that the prospects of losing something are psychologically more mobilizing, more motivating of people into action than the prospects of obtaining that very same set of benefits and advantages. So, the first 2 that we can talk about, one is social proof, the evidence that a lot of other people like me are moving in this direction, right? That reduces uncertainty that, oh, well, this is probably a good choice for me too. If everybody I know is raving about a new restaurant or a new film or a new piece of software, they've beta tested it for me. I don't have to figure it all out now, the details, and in an information overloaded environment where I don't have a lot of time to dwell on choosing the very best of the options. I can choose to follow what most others around me like me are doing. And what our newest research shows, if we give people not just the number or percentage of individuals who have chosen in our direction or our market share or our popularity or so on, if we show them a trend to where we are now, even if it's relatively low, because let's say we have something new, we have something that they haven't tried before, right? But we can honestly say that when we've moved people in that direction or when we've given them the option of moving that direction, we're seeing a trend that works better than just giving them the popularity itself. So we should never fail to say, 6 months ago, if we only had 5% of the people choosing, 3 months ago, it was 15. This month, it's 30%. That's going to be significantly more powerful than saying it's 30%, which a lot of us do. But the new research shows that the reason that's effective is because it gives traction to a new kind of social proof that we didn't have before. with the trend. It's future social proof. Because when you have a trend of at least 3 data points, people project the next data points into the future. And what convinces them is not the 30%. What convinces them is the 40 or 50 or 60 that they project. That's the key for the principle of social proof. Moving people from, a prospect to customer, conversion. The second one is authority. Another way we reduce uncertainty is we look at what the experts are saying. What are the truly knowledgeable people who have the credentials and experience and background in this area? What are they recommending to us? And are they the people who I'm dealing with now? Are they the people I can partner with? Well, I'm going to jump in there because their opinions, their voices reduce my uncertainty about what's the right thing to do. They're the knowledgeable ones, after all. Well, there's a study that my colleague in the UK, we have a London office, and my colleague Stephen Martin was asked by a realty firm, how do we increase our conversions? How do we move people from call-ins to customers? Right? And he went around the office of this realty firm and he listened to what the receptionist said when she would take a call, right? And let's say she would ask, so are you interested in commercial real estate? Are you interested in residential real estate? Are you interested in which area of London are you interested? Bloomsbury, Knightsbridge, which is it, right? And then she would say, let me connect you to one of our realtors. Steve asked her to change one thing, to say, let me connect you to Brad, who's our expert in commercial real estate in Bloomsbury. Or let me connect you to Janet, who's been doing residential real estate in Knightsbridge for years. She's our expert there. They got a 16% increase in conversion. And here's the lovely thing about it. That's what the receptionist was doing anyway. She just didn't announce it. She didn't persuade people to be ready for an expert before they encountered that realtor. It was absolutely honest. It was absolutely ethical. It was eliminating an error that the receptionist had been making. And with that one sentence, one more breath, increased conversions by 16% immediately. So those are the two that reduce your perception, the perception of those around you, that they can be uncertain. They no longer have to be uncertain because you're the partner. Look, you've got the trend. You've got the expertise. I can get off the fence. I can get into the game. And then the third one we've already alluded to, it's scarcity. And here's the thing. Scarcity is about loss. Right? And research has shown that the single most effective online change e-platforms can make to create a conversion is to honestly give them evidence of limited availability of what they have to offer. That they are in competition with other people for the time, for the attention of your clients, of your attorneys in this case, or they have only a limited amount of time or available, a limited number of appointments, a limited number of clients that they can take, right? It's also the case that I looked at your website, Bill, and you do something that doesn't even require that you have limited time. You know what you say? It was beautiful. When I saw it, I said to myself, oh, that's brilliant.
No idea.
In the about section of each of your people, there's a there's a category called unique greatness.
Mm.
You know what unique says? You lose that greatness if you don't come in into partnership with this person. It's unique. It means you can't get it. It means it's scarce, it's rare. And people want to be there. They want to take advantage of those unique opportunities, those unique benefits, advantages that you can give them by differentiating yourself from what your competitors provide. Very often, it's not one thing. You know, we live in a world now where there's a lot of amalgamation and a lot of competitors have comparable strengths. But a lot of times you have a suite of strengths. You have a combination of
Mm.
strengths that nobody can match. If that's the case, that should go first. That's the first thing you should tell them. Right? So those are the directions I think we have to take. Those are the tools we have to employ in this time of uncertainty.
How do I even ask another question after that? I mean, that was phenomenal. Before I forget, I'm gonna have another question because I know we're past your time. Can you tell everyone about what inspired you to rewrite the best book on persuasion in the world? For a new edition. I'm gonna put the link into the chat. Of course, my camera went off. What inspired you to rewrite it?
You know, that's really a good question because the book has been selling very well, even in its previous edition, right up to the time that we released the new version last week. It's a bestseller still. So you get this don't fix what isn't broken, claim. But my grandfather had a quote that he loved, and it applied to me. Here's his quote: if you want things to stay the same, things are going to have to change around here.
Mm.
Brilliant. That's exactly right. You can't rest on your laurels. The world is going to pass you by, right? Things have to change. I had to bring in the newest research on persuasion science, like the one I was just telling you about with trends. That wasn't it. We did that research in the interim between the two. Nobody knows about it outside of the academic community where we published it. So, but that plus one other thing, we were getting messages from our readers about the principles of influence themselves, the concepts like authority and social proof and scarcity. But they were saying, can you give us the words to use to harness that process, to download that process into the situation, that concept into the situation? And so this is a lot more of giving people exactly what to say in order to engage one or another of the principle. I'll give you one example, and it has to do with the new principle of unity, where you want people to feel a sense of partnership with you. If they're with you as a unit, as a partner, against the world, then you follow their lead, right? So, do you know the term co-creation?
Oh yeah.
Big in marketing right now. What we want to do is get our customers, our prospects, our clients to co-create with us a system that will be optimal for them. Right? We don't want to just pontificate, and tell them what they should do. So what we often do is to ask for their feedback on how we can craft that idea. Or let's say we've got even inside the organization that you're working with, you've got a new initiative or idea that you want to run up the ladder, the hierarchy, uh, and you think it'll be great, but you need the buy-in of your colleagues to do it. How do you get that buy-in from your clients? How do you get that buy-in from your colleagues? What we typically would do is to give them a draft or an outline of what we have in mind and ask for their feedback. Exactly the right thing to do. Here's the wrong thing to do: to say, can I get your opinion on this? Because research shows when you ask for someone's opinion, you get a critic.
Mm.
They step back from you, that unity that you're trying to get, and they go inside themselves. They seal themselves off from you. They go inside and give you an opinion that they found from inside themselves. In other words, they are standing against you and they're representing the rest of the world. Here we are, and we're critiquing your idea. Everybody, all right, okay. If you change the word opinion to advice, you get a partner. You don't get a critic now, you get a partner who sees him or herself as with you, examining that idea and thinking about the two of you against the world. Your idea and my partnership with you, my advice on it against the world. And the research shows if you ask for somebody for their advice versus their opinion on the very same idea, you get significantly more favorable response, evaluation, rating.